Welcome everybody to this webinar where we will look into the benefits of data management on the cloud. My name is Jimmy Johansson and I'm the cloud expert for today. I'm located at PLM Group in the Vanham office, and I've been working at PLM Group for roughly 4 years now. I started my career here at PLM Group as an application engineer where I did some trainings, consultancy, support, etc. But then I moved to a new role called field specialist, where I will focus more on doing demos and helping the sales personnel in PLM Group do their work, and of course conducting webinars as this one. My main focus area is on 3DEXPERIENCE, but I will also do some demos and stuff regarding regular PDM and design automation and stuff like that. So let's begin by having a look back what we have done previously. A colleague of mine previously made a webinar about Bid Manager, where a sales personnel can find actual CAD data and combine that CAD data into an existing structure, and also display the CAD data graphically alongside the customer, so the customer can see exactly what he or she is getting. This is all based on actual CAD data, meaning that the CAD data or the model that you build at the very initial state with the customer is followed downstream as well, so you don't reinvent the wheel. And this is one of the benefits about the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, because there are many stakeholders in every company, and all stakeholders have different requirements and needs. So what the 3DEXPERIENCE platform does is that it combines everything that these different stakeholders in the company need into one single system to make it easier for everyone to collaborate and work on the same data. So 3DEXPERIENCE connects multiple business areas together on a single platform to raise the silos in the organization. And of course, this also raises the administrative burden for IT and administrators, because decreasing the number of different systems requiring updates, meaning that you don't have to update many different systems. You have one big system that you only need to update, and those updates are done automatically. And of course, less systems mean less customized bridges, so to speak, between different systems. So if you have a number of different systems and you have customized bridges to make these systems talk to each other, so to speak, then you always have the risk of those bridges not working once you update one system. And of course, less systems means less systems to administrate. And of course, since 3DEXPERIENCE is cloud-based, it will eliminate or decrease the number of local service or your local IT infrastructure that you need. So, looking at 3DEXPERIENCE from a design perspective, there are a number of different features and functions that we requires from a CAD system or a PDM system that combines CAD data. For example, we need to add files to the cloud storage. We also need to organize it somehow. We need to update the status and revision for these files. And of course, some people need to mark up files and review files, etc. So there are a number of different features and functions that we will look into today on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So if we start in Solidworks, we can see that we have one model open and it's currently not yet uploaded to the platform. So in order to upload the model to the platform, I can simply right-click and select Save with Options. What will happen first is that I will copy this file to something known as my local cache, meaning I will copy it to a specific folder that will be synchronized to the Cloud Vault, meaning that it will be synchronized to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So the benefit of this is that instead of sending piece by piece that you would do when working on a regular server, you will instead send the entire package and decreasing the risk for corrupt files. And as you see, I can also add something known as a bookmark, which is a tag to these different files, which will make it easier for me to find them on the platform. So currently, I'm selecting the demo, PDM in the cloud, and then CAD files, and apply this bookmark or this tag to the top assembly. And then I can select all the subcomponents and add yet another bookmark or another tag to these files. So I know that this is where I can find the top assembly of the file, and in this folder or in this tag, I can find the components of the top assembly. So here we can see we have one column called bookmarks, which essentially is tags, and we have CAD file for the belt conveyor and component for the remaining ones. So when I click save, the files will be uploaded to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, meaning that they will be duplicated from my local cache up to the cloud so other people can access them as well. And once they're uploaded to the cloud, I can see that in task pane to the right of my screen, I had the add-in for 3DEXPERIENCE, and there I can see in the status column that they have a green checkbox on all components, meaning that they are all successfully uploaded to the platform. So what we just saw was that we can easily add files to the cloud storage, meaning we can easily upload files from our local computer up onto the cloud. And we have organized them using tags or bookmarks, as it's called. So before we move to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, I need to explain some basic concepts of the platform as such. The 3DEXPERIENCE platform is web-based, meaning that you have to go to your browser in order to access the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So the blue rectangle on the screen represents the web browser. Now, when I'm navigated to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform in the web browser, I will use different applications, in other words, tools, to do whatever I want to do. If I want to upload or update the revision, for example, for a file, I will use one application. If I want to organize the files, I will use another application. If I want to review the files, I will use another application. So on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, when you navigate to that side, you will actually use different applications directly in your web browser for this one. And of course, you can add more than one application in your web browser. And this concept is called the dashboards, which basically is a pinboard directly in your web browser to which you can put different applications. So if we move to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, we can see that I currently have two main applications expanded. To the left, I have something known as Bookmark Editor, which essentially is a collection of all my tags that I can use to tag files in order to make it easy for me to find. A bookmark structure could almost be seen as a regular file structure, so I can have the main bookmarks and subcategories, and even subcategories in the subcategories. To the right, I have my 3D Play application, which is a viewer that I can view CAD files in. So if I navigate to the correct bookmark called Demo, I can then go into the PDM in the cloud bookmark, navigate down to CAD files, and there we can see that we have my belt conveyor part or assembly that I uploaded. So I drag and drop it into the 3D Play application to open or review the CAD file directly in my browser. And of course, here I can rotate on the CAD model, and I can zoom in and out on the CAD model. And I can also use some different tools to, for example, measure between different points. And I can erase the measurement if I want to as well. I can also do different cross sections. And depending on what plane I'm using, I get different types of cross section as well, of course. What's also interesting is that I can create markups directly in this 3D Play application. So I can draw circles or arrows or lines, and I can also add text associated with these markups, so to easily communicate ideas or concepts. And of course, I can share these ones as well. So I can either print a screenshot, I can save a screenshot of this image, or I can publish it to something known as 3D Swim. I won't go into 3D Swim today in this webinar, but 3D Swim is a forum on the 3D Experience platform, meaning that you can create different forums on the platform. For example, a forum per each unique project. So you could, for example, have a forum for this belt conveyor. So you could publish this markup directly to that forum without having to download the file and then upload it again to the platform. So what we have seen is that we can add files to the cloud storage, and we have also organized them using the bookmarks editor for different tags. We have also seen that we can search for content on the platform using the bookmark editors. We have also viewed files directly in the web browser using the 3D Play application, and we've also done some markup of files on the platform. So we have a number of different tools on the platform, and we will dive deeper into them. So if we go back to the platform, we can then minimize the 3D Play application and expand something known as Collaborative Lifecycle, to which I can drag and drop the belt conveyor. Here we can see that we have revision and maturity state, meaning the status of the file. If I click on release in the upper graph, we can see that I can set the maturity, meaning the status of this file, from in work to released. So I can easily change the status of files directly on the platform. It doesn't have to be done through Solidworks. And I can, of course, also update the revision of the file. So when I add a new revision, we can see that the new revision of the file will by default be sent back to the in-work maturity state. Meaning I have control of revisions and status of my file directly on the platform. I will not have to do it directly from within Solidworks, but I can work with these files in these ways directly on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So what we have seen now is that we can update status for files directly on the platform, and we can of course also update the revision. So as deeper we dive into this, we can see that we have more and more tools for managing your files directly on the platform. So what will happen then in SolidWorks? In SolidWorks, when I update the revision on the platform, we can see that we have one column for revision in SolidWorks. And currently we have a small plus sign right next to the revision for the main belt conveyor, because I updated the revision on the platform for this file, meaning I will now have to right click on the belt conveyor and replace by revision in order to download the latest revision of this conveyor from the cloud platform into my local cache, so I have the latest version locally. And there we can see that it's updated with revision B1. So I simply, by a mouse click, downloaded the latest version to my local cache. So besides updating the status and revision on the platform, we can do it directly from within SolidWorks as well. And we have a live connection between the CAD data on your local computer and the CAD data on the cloud. So moving on, let's see how we can collaborate a bit more efficiently on the platform as well. You have a tool on the platform known as tasks, meaning that you can create tasks directly from the platform, from the cloud environment. And you can, of course, tie these tasks to a project plan if you want to. So let's say we create a new task called Change Engine, for example. And we can refresh the session. We can see that we have a task called Change Engine. If we click on that one, we can access more information for this specific task, where we can add a description, estimated finish date, assignees, etc. And here we can assign a number of different people. What's really nice though is that besides assignees and these general data associated with tasks, we can navigate to the bookmark editor, meaning the tags editor, where I have my Solidworks file, and I can then drag and drop the Solidworks file directly to the task to attach the actual Solidworks file to this specific task, meaning that whoever is assigned to this task won't have to search for the files elsewhere, but he or she can actually find it directly from the task. And I can, of course, also attach multiple different Solidworks files to the same task. So in this case, I've attached the main assembly and the new engine. So if I switch to SolidWorks, I can access these tasks directly from within SolidWorks, meaning I won't have to navigate or jump between the cloud platform and SolidWorks in order to find it. So here I have opened the task, and I can open the CAD file directly from the attachment tab. And I could, of course, also open the attached engine as well. But let's say, for example, that I don't have it attached. Then I can go to my bookmark editor, meaning my tasks or my tags, in order to find the bookmark in which this specific engine is located, if I already know that, and simply drag and drop it directly into the assembly in order to add it as a new file. So I can basically search and find my files differently. If someone has created a task on the platform for me, I can attach the files. I can open the files directly from within the task. But I can, of course, also find the files using the bookmark editor, and this can be done directly from within SolidWorks. So I will not have to jump between the 3DEXPERIENCE platform and SolidWorks in order to be able to work. So what we can see is that a number of the different tools we look at can be accessed from both 3DEXPERIENCE and in SolidWorks, meaning that you can increase your efficiency as a designer. And of course, once we are to do changes, we have to reserve the file. So if I right-click on the file, I can reserve it and see that I get a green key right next to the belt conveyor. And I can unreserve it by right-clicking and selecting unreserve, meaning that I can either lock it for editing or unlock it. We can also see when we right-click that we have a number of different features and functions here as well. And I also have a toolbar at the very bottom in which I can access many of these tools. So right-clicking and selecting the maturity, we can see that I get the same graph I got on the platform. Or if I right-click and select revision, I can update the revision directly from within SolidWorks as well, meaning I will not necessarily have to go to the platform in order to update the status of the revision of the platform or of the file. So many of the tools, as I mentioned previously, are accessible directly from the platform. So we have seen how we can reserve files for editing and design your CAD data. And we've also looked at how you can actually access even more tools directly from within SolidWorks. So this is one of the huge benefits of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, that you can access and work with a lot of different tools directly through the cloud on the platform, but you can also access and use a number of these tools directly from within SolidWorks. So you might sometimes not even have to go outside of SolidWorks in order to do your tasks. And I believe this is one of the strong features of 3DEXPERIENCE, that you have access to tools wherever you are. So what's also quite interesting on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform is that you can build your own product structures as well. A product structure might necessarily not be tied to only CAD data, but you can, of course, use documents, rendered images, Word documents, etc., to attach to your product structure. So your product structure could consist of requirement specifications, CAD data, rendered image, etc. And then you want a nice structure to review your entire product with all the associated information. On the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, you have a tool to achieve just this. So if we look at the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, we can create a new engineering item. In this engineering item, we can create yet another engineering item, which is a branch of the top assembly or the top component. And of course, we can rename this one from physical product to, for example, requirements. And we can save that one. We can add yet another component or engineering item, which we can call CAD files, for example. So what's really nice here is that you can add a number of different engineering items and rename them to whatever you want in order to build your own specific product structure. And to these, you can attach whatever you want. Basically, you can attach images, CAD files, requirement specification, PDF documents, etc. So once we have a product structure, and this is just an example, of course you can build it much more complex if you want to. But as you can see, if I try to expand, for example, the CAD files, there currently isn't anything. So if I open the item for CAD files, I can then drag and drop, for example, the conveyor by going into PDM in the cloud bookmark, CAD files, and then simply drag and drop the belt conveyor into the CAD files item in order to attach the entire assembly directly to this item, meaning I've attached the CAD files to my product structure. So here you can see an overview of your entire product structure, which is really, really nice. But you can, of course, also attach more than just CAD files. So if we open the requirements item, we can drag and drop, for example, a PDF file into the requirements item and go back to the main structure and expand it. And here we can see that we have created a product structure consisting of both CAD files and in this case PDF documents. You can also change the view of this one in order to make it as an engineering bill of materials to see the instances or the quantity of your components. So by changing the view setting, we can see that we now have a column for quantity, meaning that you can see how many of each component exist in your product structure as well. So to summarize, you can upload files from Solidworks to the 3DEXPERIENCE with a few mouse clicks. And many of the tools are available from both 3DEXPERIENCE, meaning both the web interface and from within Solidworks. So you won't necessarily have to jump between the different applications in order to maintain efficiency. And since 3DEXPERIENCE is entirely cloud-based, you got access to it basically anywhere without an internet connection, or with an internet connection, that is. So you don't have to set up many different VPN tunnels in order to gain access to a local network. So you can access a traditional PDM vault, for example. And of course, since it's web-based, you can access it from a computer, you can access it from your smartphone or your iPad or whatever, as long as you have internet access. So you won't have to tinker with a lot of setup as you do with a traditional PDM system. And of course, this means that you have a number of different tools depending on where in your organization you are. Because 3DEXPERIENCE is more than just a PDM system, it's a business platform, meaning that you have tools for the many different peoples within your organization. May it be an engineering department, may it be sales department, may it be the manufacturing or simulation department, etc. And all these can collaborate on one single platform, on one single CAD data, in order to access the same information and erase the silos within the organization.